Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door is one of those games for me. You know, the one you have no idea how you got it or when, but you vividly remember sitting in front of the TV playing the game for hours upon hours. That was this game for me. It was one of the main games of my childhood and still is to this day one of my favorites. I remember going on a hockey trip when I was younger to a town a couple of hours away from mine. The trips were always awesome because it meant me, my brother, and my cousin could screw around in a hotel all weekend wrecking havoc, as we all played on the same hockey team. Now, what exactly does this have to do with Paper Mario? Well, this is where I first came in contact with the franchise. At some hotels, if you were lucky enough, they would come with an N64 hooked up to the TV with a couple of games. You can imagine the controller sticks on the controllers. It was almost impossible to use to maneuver around. One of the games included was Paper Mario, and man, did that game look different. I immediately fell in love with its unique art style. It literally was Paper Mario. I started playing and was drawn to the screen. I managed to get about 5 minutes in before I was taken away to play a stupid hockey game. And I never really got another chance to play the game until I recently bought it off eBay. I'm still not sure how I got Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. I must have seen it in the store and thought it was the same game I played in the hotel a few years earlier. Maybe old Santa Claus read my mind. But the thing I do remember is the title screen of the game. I think it's the only game when I started it up I didn't hammer on the A button to skip the boring stuff. I actually sat there and watched and enjoyed it. I love that music, it just felt so captivating. And I love the intro cutscene. I remember staring in awe as my ship entered into the town of Roadport. The paper waves looked really cool. Now, prior to all this, I didn't really have any experience with any RPG games. All I played was Mario 64 and Majora's Mask. I had no idea the main combat of the game was a turn-based style of fighting, and to be honest, I didn't really clue in that it was an RPG until much later when I acquired some Final Fantasy games. I loved the turn-based combat system, and leveling up felt awesome. I like how it gave you an option of which attribute you wanted to level up, such as your flower power or your health. Unlike, say, Pokemon, where when you level up, it automatically changes your HP, etc. Another feature the game had were the sidekick characters. Each character was a lot of fun to use in battle, and they were all pretty unique, except for Flurry. No. My favorite sidekick was Vivian. Don't even get me started on the whole is she a guy or a girl thing. She looks like a girl, that's what I'm calling her. You find her in chapter 4 and I really like the whole creepiness and style of that chapter. I always felt for her when her sisters picked on her and I felt like I had to be the white knight and help her out. I also liked the mini Yoshi because he was a rebel, am I right? The Koopa sucked and was depressing to play with. He's such a downer when you first encounter him. And the Goomba was just useless. But other than that, I actually really enjoyed this feature. I loved all the different chapters in the game except for one of them. I hated chapter 2. I hate that stupid tree, stupid punies or whatever the hell they're called, and I hated Madame Flurry, as I said.
What the f? That shit ain't fucking right, dude.
It's the water temple of Paper Mario for sure. My favorite chapter was the train chapter, and my second favorite was the pirate chapter. The train chapter seems to be the favorite among a lot of people. It was so cool being a detective and snooping around all the other rooms. Plus trains are awesome and it was cool to feel like you were traveling around. I like the pirate chapter because, I mean, come on, pirates, right? I was a kid, okay? But I really enjoyed the boss Cortez of that chapter. I think the reason I like Cortez so much is probably because he reminded me of Jonathan Jones for Super Mario RPG. Definitely the hardest part of this game wasn't the final boss, it was the Pit of 100 Trials. I could never beat it. I swear it's impossible, or maybe I'm just really bad. No, that can't be it. I really enjoyed how they added this feature though. It gave you something to do after you beat the game, so it was nice. All in all, this was one of my very first RPG games. Although it was just more of a turn-based combat system with slight RPG elements, I still consider it that. To this day, it easily stands out as one of my favorite games, if not my favorite game for the GameCube. And I hope you enjoy listening to what I remember about Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door.